Smile. The American officer points at her teeth. Liesel thinks he's picking which one to pull first. She's standing in a wooden building that smells like bleach and fear. 47 women, all German, all captured 3 hours ago, all waiting for what comes next. The officer holds something metal, not a gun, not pliers. Something worse. She doesn't know what it is. That's the part that terrifies her. Ausziehen, strip. The word comes from a female American soldier near the door. Perfect German, too perfect. Like she's done this before. Liesel's hands won't stop shaking. The buttons on her uniform feel like they're made of ice. Her fingers slip. Once, twice. 473 German women in American custody by April 1945. Only 473. She's one of them. And 89% have never seen an American soldier before today. Sie wählen die Hübschen aus, Brigitte whispers beside her. 26 years old. Wehrmacht nurse. Hands steadier than Liesel's, but her voice cracks. Für die Offiziere. Die Hübschen gehen zuerst. They're selecting the pretty ones. For the officers. The pretty ones go first. Liesel isn't pretty. She knows this. Gap between her front teeth. Scar above her eyebrow from a childhood fall. Too thin now. Everyone's too thin. But the officer is walking toward her anyway. His boots echo on concrete. Each step sounds like a countdown. Liesel's heart slams against her ribs. She can taste metal in her mouth. Blood. She's bitten her tongue. The officer stops, looks at her teeth again, writes something on a card. She's been numbered, like cattle, like inventory. The female soldier approaches with blankets, gray wool, rough. She drops one on Liesel's bare shoulders without looking at her face. That's wrong. That's not how this works. Wenn sie dir in die Augen schauen, bist du ein Mensch, her mother told her once. Wenn nicht, bist du Fleisch. If they look you in the eyes, you're human. If not, you're meat. The American woman isn't looking. Liesel pulls the blanket tighter. The wool scratches her skin. She's standing naked under rough fabric in a room full of enemies, and she has no idea what happens next. The officer finishes writing, puts down his pen, picks up something else, a camera. He aims it at her chest and says 3 words in broken German that freeze her blood. Gewinner, zuerst, winner first. His pronunciation butchers the words, but Liesel hears them perfectly. The camera points at her chest. The officer's finger moves toward a button. Liesel's lungs forget how to work. Click, not a gunshot. Worse, a photograph, evidence, proof of whatever they're about to do. The officer moves to the next woman. Click, the next. Click. 47 photographs, 47 bodies documented. Brigitte's breath rasps beside her. They're ranking us. Liesel's stomach drops. Ranking. Like a contest. The pretty ones go first, but she isn't pretty. So why did he photograph her first? Wehrmacht propaganda said 94% of captured German women were assaulted by Allies. 94%. Liesel memorized that number in training, held it like a knife against hope. What she doesn't know, actual documented cases in U.S. custody, 0.3%. The propaganda lied by a factor of 313. But right now, in this room, the lie feels like truth. Die große zuerst, the female soldier announces. Tall ones first. Liesel is 5'9", third tallest in the room. Her throat tightens. Brigitte squeezes her hand once. Quick, then let's go. Can't show weakness, can't show connection, can't give them leverage. Schnell, fast. The officer gestures toward a curtain at the back of the room. Canvas, military green. Something hums behind it, a machine. Liesel's feet won't move. The female soldier grabs her arm. Not rough, not gentle, efficient, like moving furniture. The curtain opens. Behind it, a metal table. A box on wheels with a glass eye, wires, tubes, and a woman lying flat on her back, arms stretched above her head, chest exposed. She's screaming, not in pain, in terror, pure, animal terror. The machine hums louder. The glass eye glows. Something inside it moves toward the screaming woman's chest. Lungenuntersuchung, someone says. Lung examination. But the word doesn't register. All Liesel sees is a machine pointed at a naked woman who's screaming. The screaming stops. The woman on the table goes silent. Still. The machine clicks off. 2 American soldiers lift her, carry her through a door Liesel can't see past. The female soldier pushes Liesel forward, toward the table, toward the machine, toward whatever just silenced that woman. "Your turn," she says in German, and the curtain falls closed behind her. The table is cold, metal against bare skin. Liesel's spine arches involuntarily, every muscle screaming to run. The machine hums inches from her face. That glass eye stares down. Inside it, something moves, mechanical, precise, hungry. Nicht bewegen, don't move. An American voice, male, calm, like he's done this 1,000 times. Liesel's fingernails dig into her palms. She can feel her heartbeat in her teeth. The wool blanket is gone now, nothing between her and the machine. The glass eye descends. Click. That sound again. The same click from the camera, but louder, deeper. It vibrates through the table into her bones, then nothing. The machine pulls back. The American says something she doesn't understand. The female soldier appears, helps her sit up, hands her the blanket. That's it. That's all. Liesel blinks, waits for the next part, the real part, the part the propaganda promised. It doesn't come. Tuberculosis screening, someone explains. Tuberculosis screening. But Liesel's brain can't process the words. She's still waiting for violence. TB killed more POWs than combat wounds in the last war. American camps now screen 100% of prisoners, every single one. The machine costs $47,000, more than most houses. Liesel doesn't know these numbers. She only knows they took a picture of her insides, her lungs, her bones. They saw everything, and they let her go. Captain Marta Anderson stands in the corner, American, Red Cross armband, 34 years old, watching every woman come through. She's crying, not for herself, for them, for what they expected, for the terror that didn't need to exist. Wir dachten, es wäre etwas anderes, Brigitte whispers when she comes through. We thought it was something else. Marta nods. She knows. She's seen this 47 times today. We'll see it hundreds more before the war ends. The propaganda machine worked perfectly. These women were so prepared for assault that medical equipment looked like torture. A camera became evidence of exploitation. A lung screening became violation. Liesel holds her blanket, stares at the curtain. Behind it, the next woman screams. Same terror, same machine, same click, same nothing. Warum weint die Amerikanerin? Liesel asks. Why is the American crying? No one answers. The female soldier points toward another door. Healthy ones this way. Liesel walks, legs numb, mind blank. She's healthy. She passed. But what does healthy mean here? What happens to the winners? The door opens. The healthy ones get a barracks, wooden bunks, thin mattresses, 50 women in a room built for 30. Liesel expected worse. She expected chains. Instead, she gets a bed, a number, a meal schedule. Das ist die Strafe? Brigitte asks. This is the punishment? The meal comes at 1800 hours, metal tray, steam rising. Liesel stares at it like it might explode. Potatoes. Actual potatoes. Meat she can't identify. Bread that isn't green with mold. A cup of something hot. She hasn't eaten real food in 19 days. Gift, someone whispers. Poison. Sie mästen uns für etwas. They're fattening us for something. Liesel doesn't care. Her hands shake as she lifts the fork. The first bite burns her tongue. She doesn't slow down. 2,800 calories. That's what healthy POWs receive. She doesn't know this number. She only knows her stomach stopped hurting. Back home, Wehrmacht rations dropped to 900 calories. Soldiers ate rats, leather belts boiled into soup, tree bark ground into flour. She's eating better as a prisoner than she ever did as a soldier. That night a sound wakes her. Sobbing, quiet, controlled. Coming from the bed beside hers, Margit Schultz, 19 years old, youngest in their capture group. shaking under her blanket. Was ist los? Liesel whispers. What's wrong? Ich verstehe das nicht. I don't understand this. Neither does Liesel. None of them do. The food, the beds, the medical screening, the blankets. Meine Mutter sagte, sie würden uns wie Tiere behandeln, Margit says. My mother said they'd treat us like animals. Liesel has no answer. Her mother said the same thing. Morning brings more confusion. The American female soldier returns, calls out names. Liesel's included. Work assignment, she announces. Work. There it is. The real punishment. Forced labor. Exploitation. Liesel follows. 10 women, down a path, toward a building marked with a red cross. Medical ward, their assigned stations. Liesel, laundry. Brigitte, kitchen. Margit, administrative filing. The American hands each of them an envelope. Weekly pay, she says. Liesel's hand freezes mid-reach. Bezahlung? Payment? 80 cents per day. $5.60 per week. In her hand. Real American money. Wehrmacht paid her the equivalent of 23 cents daily. She's making 347% more as a prisoner than she earned as a German soldier. The envelope sits in her palm. She doesn't open it. This has to be a trap. 3 weeks, 21 days. The envelope sits under Liesel's mattress, unopened. She's earned $16.80 now, 4 envelopes total, none of them touched. Du bist verrückt, Brigitte tells her. You're crazy. She spent hers, bought soap from the camp commissary, real soap, the kind that makes bubbles. But Liesel can't. Opening the envelope means admitting it's real. And if it's real, everything else was a lie. The laundry work is hard, 12 hours, hot water, steam that makes her skin raw. American uniforms cycle through by the hundreds. She washes the clothes of her enemies, and they thank her. That's the part she can't accept. Corporal Daniel Byrne, 22, Chicago accent, picks up his laundry every Thursday, says thank you every time. Danke, he attempts once. Terrible pronunciation, genuine effort. Liesel doesn't respond, can't respond. Gratitude from an enemy doesn't fit anywhere in her brain. The camp has rules, posted on every wall, translated into German, no fraternization, no physical contact, no sharing of rations, no romantic involvement. Violations mean court-martial. For Americans, not for prisoners. They're protecting her. From their own men. Das ist nicht echt, Margit says during lunch. This isn't real. Es muss aufhören. Es muss etwas Schlimmes kommen. Something bad has to come. They wait, all of them, for the other shoe. The real punishment. The thing the propaganda promised. It doesn't come. Week 4. A new routine. Captain Marta Anderson, the crying American, appears in the barracks. Interview time, she announces. Standard procedure. Liesel is called first. The interview room is small. 2 chairs, 1 table, a window letting in gray light. Captain Anderson sits across from her, pen and paper ready. Name, age, unit. She begins in perfect German. Liesel answers. Automatic. Training kicks in. Then Captain Anderson asks a question that doesn't exist in any military protocol. Liesel knows. Was möchtest du nach dem Krieg machen? What do you want to do after the war? Liesel's mouth opens. Nothing comes out. After. The word doesn't connect to anything. There is no after. There was never supposed to be an after. Ich, she starts, stops, feels something crack behind her eyes. Ich weiß nicht. I don't know. Captain Anderson writes something down. Then looks up. Would you like to learn? That night, Liesel opens the first envelope. The money is real. Captain Anderson's office has a plant on the windowsill, green. Alive. Liesel can't stop staring at it. She hasn't seen anything grow in months. Beruf vor dem Krieg? Profession before the war? Student, Liesel answers. Mathematics, Anderson writes. The pen scratches across paper. Steady, patient. Like time doesn't exist here. Family? Mother, father, brother? Where? Dresden. The pen stops. Liesel knows what that pause means. Everyone knows. February 1945. 25,000 dead in one night, maybe more. No one's counting anymore. Es tut mir leid, Anderson says. I'm sorry, an American, apologizing for Dresden. Liesel's throat tightens. She looks at the plant again, focuses on the leaves, counts the veins. 67% of German women POWs have no post-war plan. They expected to die. Nobody taught them to imagine surviving. Do you want to continue your studies? Anderson asks. Ich? Liesel's voice breaks. She tries again. Ich wusste nicht, dass das eine Option ist. I didn't know that was an option. The interview lasts 45 minutes, 12 questions, skills assessment, educational background, career interests, personal goals. No one has ever asked Liesel about goals, not her mother, not her teachers, not the Wehrmacht. Wir wurden trainiert zu dienen, she says finally, nicht zu träumen. We were trained to serve, not to dream. Anderson puts down her pen. Then, maybe it's time to start. That night, Liesel writes her first letter home. Her hands shake. The pencil feels foreign. Dear Mama, they lied to us. The words pour out. The X-rays, the food, the money, the question about her future, everything she was told versus everything she's seen. I expected monsters. I found something I don't have a name for. She seals it, addresses it, knows it will be censored, sends it anyway. Private Victor Steinberg finds it in the mail review pile. 24 years old. Army translator, Jewish refugee from Munich. He reads it once, twice, 3 times. His hands shake. This woman writes about propaganda the same way he once believed it, from the opposite side. He's supposed to redact sensitive content, flag concerning statements, report potential security risks. Instead, he makes a copy. For the archive, for history, for proof that minds can change. Liesel doesn't know her letter will be saved. She doesn't know it will be flagged as significant testimony. She doesn't know Victor Steinberg exists. But tomorrow she will. Victor Steinberg left Munich in 1939. His family didn't. He stands in the mail room, Liesel's letter in his hand. Her handwriting is precise. German, familiar in a way that cuts. They lied to us, he knows. He grew up with the same lies, different version, same machine. The copy goes into his pocket. The original continues through processing. Censors will read it, flag it, file it. But the copy, that's his. 10,000 German Jewish refugees served in the U.S. Army during the war. Many worked as translators, facing their own countrymen across barbed wire. Victor has translated 412 letters this month. Most are mundane. Family updates, complaints about food, questions about home. Liesel's is different. I was trained to hate people I'd never met. Now one of them asked me what I want to be. His throat tightens. He remembers his own training, in reverse, learning to hate the homeland that taught him to hate himself. The next morning, Victor requests laundry detail, not standard protocol. Translators don't do laundry, but he speaks fluent German, and the camp needs help. He finds her at Station 3, elbow deep in hot water, steam rising around her face. Du hast den Brief geschrieben, you wrote the letter. Liesel freezes, hands still in the water, eyes on the uniform she's holding. Welchen Brief? Den über die Lügen, the one about the lies. She looks up, studies his face. Something shifts in her expression. Du bist Deutscher, you're German. Ich war Deutscher, he corrects. I was German. Jetzt bin ich hier. Now I'm here. Silence. Hot water drips from Liesel's hands. Somewhere outside a truck engine rumbles. Warum bist du gegangen? Why did you leave? Victor's jaw tightens. Because they told me I wasn't German enough to stay. Liesel's hands curl around the wet fabric, knuckles white. She understands. Not everything, but enough. Mein Vater hat gesagt, Leute wie du wären das Problem. My father said people like you were the problem. Was sagst du? What do you say? She doesn't answer. Can't answer. The question sits between them like unexploded ordnance. Victor reaches into his pocket, pulls out the copy of her letter. You wrote that they lied to you. Do you know what they told me? He unfolds a photograph. Worn edges, creased down the middle. A woman's face. This is my mother. She didn't leave Munich. Liesel's breath catches. Victor's voice drops. She never left. The photograph shows a woman in her 50s, dark hair streaked with gray, eyes that look directly at the camera, unafraid. Edith Steinberg, Victor says. Born Munich, 1891. Died. He stops. Liesel doesn't ask him to continue. The laundry room feels smaller now. Steam presses against the walls. Water drips from the faucet. Outside, someone shouts orders in English. Ich wusste es nicht, Liesel whispers. I didn't know. Victor laughs, short, bitter. Nobody knew. That was the point. 23% of German Jewish translators reported complex emotional responses in post-war surveys. The language doesn't capture it. How do you describe facing your own people as an enemy? Speaking your mother's tongue to interrogate her countrymen? Liesel's hands are pruned from the water. She pulls them out, dries them slowly. Mein Vater, she starts, stops, tries again. Mein Vater hat für die Eisenbahn gearbeitet. My father worked for the railway. Victor's body goes still. The railways. Everyone knows what the railways did, who they carried, where they went. Did he? I don't know. Liesel's voice cracks. I never asked. I was afraid of the answer. Silence again. Heavier now. 1.1 million people. Auschwitz alone. Edith Steinberg was one face. Maybe Liesel's father loaded the train that carried her. Maybe not. Does it matter? Warum zeigst du mir das? Liesel asks. Why show me this? Victor holds the photograph, looks at his mother's face, then at Liesel's. Because you wrote that they lied to you, and you're starting to believe it, but you don't know what the lies cost yet. He extends the photograph. Nimm es. Take it. Liesel's hand doesn't move. Ich verdiene das nicht. I don't deserve this. That's exactly why I'm giving it to you. The words hang in the air, heavy as the steam. Liesel's fingers close around the photograph, carefully, like holding ash. Was soll ich damit machen? What am I supposed to do with it? Victor steps back. Remember, that's all. Remember what believing cost us both. He turns, walks toward the door, pauses at the threshold. Ich hasse dich nicht, he says without turning around. I don't hate you. Ich wollte es, aber ich kann nicht. I wanted to, but I can't. The door closes. Liesel stands alone, steam rising, photograph in her hand, a woman she'll never meet, a debt she can't repay, and a question with no answer. May 8th, 1945. The war ends. Liesel stands in the camp courtyard, listening to static from a radio she doesn't understand. Around her, Americans celebrate. German prisoners stand silent. Some cry, some stare, some feel nothing. Brigitte grips her arm. Was passiert jetzt mit uns? What happens to us now? Liesel doesn't know. None of them do. The photograph is in her pocket. Victor's mother. She's carried it for 6 weeks. Takes it out every night. Studies the face. What did you think about on the train? Did you know where it was going? Did you have time to be afraid? Repatriation begins in June. Paperwork, medical checks, exit interviews. Captain Anderson asks her final questions. Wohin gehst du? Where will you go? Dresden, a pause. What's left of it? Hast du einen Plan? Liesel thinks about the mathematics degree she never finished. The money in her pocket, real money. The question nobody asked until an American asked it. I want to teach, she says. History, so nobody forgets. Anderson writes it down, stamps her file, slides a paper across the table. There's a university program, Allied-sponsored, for people who want to rebuild. Liesel stares at the paper, an application, in German. Warum tut ihr das? Why are you doing this? Anderson leans back. Because the war taught us something. You can't bomb ideology. You can only educate through it. Victor finds her before she leaves, standing by the gate, bag over her shoulder, photograph still in her pocket. Behältst du es? You're keeping it? Yes. Warum? Liesel looks at him, this man who should hate her, who has every right to hate her, who gave her his mother's face instead. Because someone has to remember what it cost, both sides. Victor nods. Once. Schreib mir, he says. Write to me. Where? He hands her an address. New York. His aunt's apartment. The only family he has left. Liesel takes it, folds it carefully, puts it next to the photograph. Ich werde schreiben, she promises. I'll write. She walks through the gate. Into whatever Germany has become, the photograph goes with her. 47 years later, she'll still have it. 847 letters exchanged, a friendship built on impossible ground. But right now, she's just a woman walking toward rubble, carrying a dead stranger's face, and beginning to understand what believing really costs. Berlin, 1992. A classroom, 23 students, one 68-year-old woman at the front. Liesel Hartmann, née Kramer, holds a photograph, worn now, corners soft from 47 years of holding. Where Weiss was das ist. Who knows what this is? Silence. Teenagers shifting in seats. History class. Friday afternoon. Nobody wants to be here. This is Edith Steinberg. She died in Auschwitz in 1943. I never met her. A hand raises. Warum haben Sie dann Ihr Bild? Why do you have her picture? Liesel sets the photograph on her desk, looks at it, then at them. Because her son gave it to me, in a prison camp, when I was the enemy. She tells them everything, the capture, the X-ray machine, the screaming, the terror of what she expected, the confusion of what she received. We called it a beauty contest, she says. In our minds, that's what we saw. Naked women, cameras, selection. We were so poisoned by propaganda that a tuberculosis screening looked like assault. She tells them about Victor, the letters. 847 across 4 decades. He died in 1987. Heart attack. His wife sent Liesel his final letter, unopened. Wollte das Sie es zuerst lesen, the widow wrote. He wanted you to read it first. Inside, instructions. Donate the photograph to the Holocaust Memorial Museum. Let it stand with the rest. So I did. The classroom is silent now. Different silence, heavier. Was haben Sie gelernt? A student asks. What did you learn? Liesel picks up the photograph one last time. That the worst prison isn't barbed wire. It's the stories we're told before we're old enough to question them. I walked into that camp believing I knew exactly what would happen. I was wrong. About everything. Not because the Americans were saints, they weren't. But because I was so trained to expect monsters that kindness became invisible. She looks at her granddaughter, Hannah, 16, front row. The real contest wasn't about bodies, it was about belief, and I lost. But losing meant waking up. She sets down the photograph. That's what history is, not memorizing dates, learning that everything you believe might be wrong, and being brave enough to change anyway. The bell rings. Students file out. Hannah stays. Oma, was ist mit Ilse passiert, die mit der Tuberkulose? What happened to Ilse, the one with TB? Liesel smiles. That's another story, and it's stranger than this one. Hannah leans forward. Tell me.